Hey everybody, Retrofied here, and today we got this Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and yeah, we didn't get that much content showed off in the Direct, but today we're just gonna kind of go through, look at all the stuff they announced. I'm really trying hard to not laugh or anything, just because that wasn't that good of a show. It wasn't terrible. We got some good announcements. Some of the stuff looked really cool, like the new Mario Kart game. Some of the Switch 2 add-ons, like the Switch 2 Edition games, looked really good. But first off, I just want to say, no 3D Mario? No 3D Mario anything? Well, except for Mario Kart. We really only got a little bit of Nintendo games. We got the new Hyrule Warriors, which is more of a third-party game with Nintendo's involvement with their IP. We got Mario Kart, which we already knew we were getting, and we got the 3D Donkey Kong. So enough complaining for now, let's actually get into what they showed off in the Direct. So starting out with the Direct, we got a complete new in-depth look at the new Mario Kart game, which is titled Mario Kart World. And this game looks amazing. I was thinking it would be called Mario Kart 9, but I was also kind of thinking that they would go with a different approach. The character models look amazing. They look more like the Wonder models, which is what I'm pretty sure Nintendo is probably going to continue with going forward, is this more stylized, kind of cartoony look than what we were getting with the Wii era. And this trailer has so much content in it that it really needs its own video, which I might be coming out with soon. So right off the bat, we get a look at boats and sleds, which in Mario Kart games before, we have had the gliders and the hovering cars that we had in Mario Kart 8, but boats and sleds are something completely new to the Mario Kart series. We also see them turn into planes, which I guess the glider mechanic is gone now. So for a lot of these, it looks like they're not going with how they were in Mario Kart 8, where a lot of the tracks are from older games. It's like a reimagining of older tracks from the SNES, the N64, just a lot of different tracks all throughout Mario Kart's history. But for this game, it looks like they're going for a complete reboot of the Mario Kart series, which I really enjoy. And again, we see more boats, we see more looks at the maps, and a lot of these maps, it looks like they're probably going to have that kind of change between land and water and even sledding. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet is a lot of the character roster looks really good. A lot of the characters we're seeing in this didn't have really a Mario Wonder style model yet, like King Boo, and a lot of other minor Mario characters haven't had that new stylization of their character yet. So seeing those looks really nice. And throughout the trailer, you see different outfits and just a bunch of new mechanics and new carts, and it looks like a crazy big game. And there is a Direct for the game on my birthday, April 17th actually. So once that comes out, I'll definitely make a video about that as soon as possible. And then we see that this is a full open world Mario Kart game, which is completely unique. None of the Mario Kart games in the past have had this. This is more of a game rather than a party racing game. This is more of a game you can actually play just whatever, just pick up and play, go drive around the world, drive to the next track even. It's so just crazy seeing all this. So while I want to talk about Mario Kart more, because that's probably that main title from this Direct, I'm gonna keep going so I don't just talk about Mario Kart in this video. So then we see the C button, and I was honestly hoping that the C button would be to connect to another screen and use it as a 3DS. But it's not. It's what we kind of expected. It's a voice chat button for their new social media app on the Switch, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like Discord, I guess, but more Nintendo. And I think this might mean that we're getting a revamp of the friend system on the Switch. I feel like there will be a new way to kind of add friends and and have like group chats and all that stuff with your friends instead of having to go to the Switch mobile app. So then again, looking at this, the Switch has its own microphone, which looks really cool, and even a camera add-on you can get. And we see what this top USB port is really for. It's for the accessories like the camera and to charge it while it's in tabletop mode. It's not for a second screen like some of us were hoping. So then we see a lot of the system, and I do want to kind of go into depth on it, but it is just kind of the Switch. It looks huge in these videos of the people playing it. It looks huge. So the dock has probably an upscaler in it, which can output to 4K when it goes onto a TV, which is what I was hoping they would do. And it also has its own fan, which the dock needed on the Switch 1. So then we got a tutorial game, which costs money. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm really confused as to why this isn't a pack-in game. Like the PS5 came with Astrobot, which wasn't even a tutorial game. It was celebrating PlayStation. But for the Switch 2, we get a paid game which tells you about the Switch 2 and gives you some cheap little games to play. It just doesn't make any sense. If you guys want more Switch 2 content, I'm going to be uploading a bunch of videos up to the release about predictions and what I think it's going to be like. So just leave a like or subscribe so that my videos keep popping up for you, so whenever I do release more videos about the Switch 2, you'll see it. But let's get back to the video. So the next part, which is something huge that I really want to talk about, is when I was watching this, I was talking with Finn because I was watching it with him. This is huge. With PlayStation and Xbox, they just had, free digital upgrades or even paid upgrades to get a PS5 version which had better frame rates and better load times on the PS5. But for this is obviously it's paid, but it adds complete new DLC and new mechanics to these games. The biggest of which, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. And seeing that it adds almost a social media to Tears of the Kingdom where you can share your builds is insane. So then we get the Switch 2's tech demo game, which with the Switch it was 1-2-Switch, and with the Wii U is Nintendo Land, and the Wii Sports. But for this, it is Wheelchair Rocket League.
Bounces into the corner! Energy still around! Justin hits there for the shot! Justin! This is Rocket League!
And I don't understand this. I do not understand this game whatsoever. But then we get the biggest announcement for me, at least. We get a new Hyrule Warriors game based on the imprisoning war from Tears of the Kingdom. Now, Tears of the Kingdom's story was amazing. I love Tears of the Kingdom so much, but most of it happened in the past as Zelda. So to get a game where you're actually playing as Zelda in it, and it's a Hyrule Warriors game. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was amazing. But for it to actually be part of the story, instead of kind of a different timeline like it was with Age of Calamity, is huge. If I wasn't sold on the Switch 2 before, this game would have sold me on it. And then we get a pretty big reveal. Nintendo GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online, which, that's huge. Okay, and now that they have Luigi's Mansion 2 on the Switch and Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch, now finally Luigi's Mansion 1 is on the Switch. Which, that's the biggest part of the GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online for me, is Luigi's Mansion. But I think the biggest part about that, not for me, is the fact that there's online multiplayer. Which means if they release Melee on this, there will be online multiplayer for Melee that isn't emulating it. So then we get a bunch of more third-party games, which I'm not even going to cover because I don't care. Then we get the last game. A new 3D Donkey Kong game. So I've always loved the Donkey Kong games. Me and my mom used to play Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii and even Tropical Freeze on the Wii. But for a new 3D Donkey Kong game, which looks like a reimagining of the series, it looks like it brings entire new life to Donkey Kong's character and changes how he looks. He looks more like the Seth Rogen Donkey Kong from the movie. I was honestly thinking that this was like Odyssey 2 or even a new 3D Mario game, but it does look super unique. I like the fact that you can just dig really whatever. It just fits Donkey Kong super well. So I think for a new reimagining of Donkey Kong, this is probably the best approach they could have gone. So now with the entire Direct out of the way, let's just talk about it. So I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't the greatest. While we were hoping for a 3D Mario and I was hoping for Luigi's Mansion, a lot of it didn't get mentioned. But there is still time. It comes out in June. There's still time for more about the system. There's still time for another Direct, which I don't know if we'll get, but there's still time for trailers for a lot of games and even probably live presentations, which hopefully we'll get. But still, no 3D Mario, no Animal Crossing, no mention of Smash. There's just not much to sell this system to people. I have so many friends who I've been trying to tell, oh, you should get a Switch 2 so we can play this together. You should get a Switch 2. But it's just, it doesn't sell anyone on it. I don't want to be so negative about it because, like I said, I'm really excited for it. But when the world isn't full of a bunch of Nintendo nerds like me and maybe you can't expect it to do so well. Like, yes, they had the Direct the other day with Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, but that's coming to the Switch 1. So if you really want that or some of the other games like Metroid Prime 4, just get it for your Switch 1. Why get a Switch 2? That's obviously not the mindset I want people to have. It's not the mindset I want to have, but it's just like the Wii U. The mindset people had is, why should I get a Wii U? Or they just thought it's an accessory. Why should I get a Switch 2? It's just a better Switch. No, it's a completely new console, but they're not getting that point out to people. We didn't get a price. We didn't get a pre-order date. We didn't get a UI reveal. We didn't get anything for this system. So, wrapping up, I am excited for the Switch 2, but I don't know if everyone else is with these announcements. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really want to thank you guys for the support on my Tomodachi Life video. That was my first video in probably like 3 or 4 months, and it did amazingly well. And I just thank you guys so much for the support, honestly. To my new 12 or 13 subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Every time I look at YouTube Studio and see that mark go up 1, I get so happy. So thank you all. So hopefully we get some more Nintendo news about the Switch 2 soon. But if we don't,